tasked with assembling an elite team to travel through time.
All your worlds are about to change.
Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. And for those of you who've been watching my channel for any period of time, you guys know I was reviewing the first half of the season of Legends of Tomorrow, but because it's like the lowest rated CW, or at least the DC CW shows, not too many people were watching my videos, and not too many people watch the show in general, so I stopped reviewing it week to week. But I want to do this full season review because I'm at a point now where Legends has been the best DC show on the CW right now, because it's been the most consistent. You know, like in this last half of the season has been great. Even the episodes that are just like kind of like filler, kind of, they're still fun, and that's what I want from this show. And shows like Supergirl and The Flash, there's so problematic week to week because, like, whether it's the Mon-El thing or Barry keep thinking that changing the timeline or going in the future, going in the past is going to make things better. It's just like, the characters like that, they'll make the stupid decisions like they do in Legends. Because Legends, there's like a mission and they're trying to get to it and have fun along the way. So there's no like stupid romantic drama like there was last season. And even though it sucks because Hawkman and Hawkgirl are cool characters in the comics, I just feel like the writers didn't know what to do with them, so that's why they killed off Hawkman, and they really just made Kendra a love interest for Ray, and then that turned into just garbage. But this season, when they bring in characters like Nate and Amaya, I was a little worried, like, okay, like, but after we got to see a bit of their dynamic and their roles in the team, I was a little worried, okay, this is kind of like Ray and Kendra from last year, and while there is the romantic interest between the two of them, and then they've hooked up a couple of times, overall, there's still a lot to those characters that isn't just them being love interests. Like, in the last few episodes, you really have seen, okay, he wanted to say Mari but that's the other reason. You really see, why, Ray, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on, Amaya, sorry, I don't know why I blanked on her name all of a sudden, but I feel like Amaya, like, knowing that she has to go back to Zambesi, and she has a destiny of her own to become, Big Sin's grandma, so Mari can be born, and just, first of all, because I feel like they haven't brought up Mari enough in this show, and, because Ray was the first one to bring it up, but he didn't even bring it up until, like way into the season, and in the four-way crossover, like, Oliver has worked with Mari, Barry has worked with Mari, Felicity and Cisco have worked with Mari, and there's zero mention of Mari in the crossover. So that's where it's just like, come on, you guys. Like, I understand the actress is busy, but you can at least mention her. And they didn't, and that's fine. But overall, I feel like this season, it's the last couple of episodes, whether it's, Aruba or the Legion of Doom episode, which I thought was incredible when we got our first good look at Black Flash since we hadn't seen him previously until since the season finale of Flash from last year. And I just feel like the way they've used Black Flash this season has been great, and the way they used all the villains this year have been great, because like Vandal Savage honestly was not that great of a villain. He just wasn't as menacing as he should have been, and I just feel like there wasn't enough to that character that made him really interesting or threatening. And what they did with the Legion of Doom, obviously when you're doing the Legion of Doom, there's an element of cheesiness to it, because obviously the Legion of Doom is from the Super Friends cartoon, and it's still a team of supervillains. You got Lex Luthor and Scarecrow and Sinestro and all these other people. And it can get a little ridiculous, but worked on this show. And you had characters who I got tired of, like Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlin, who worked great in this show. Damien Dark, like, this is where Damien Dark fits. And that's why I feel like he was too over the top for Arrow, because Arrow's usually really serious. And having him be over the top fits Legends way better. And what they did with him in this final episode of the season, having him go back and leaving the villains where they were previously before Thawne ripped them out of history, I thought that was great, because things still have to happen in order for things to be how they are in the present day. So putting the villains back, wiping their memory, I thought that was a good way of having the villains for the season and yet also not screwing up the timeline too badly. And now I'm just curious as to how they're gonna, if they're gonna bring back Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold at all, because they did bring him back, but it was a younger version. So, and they put him back in his original timeline in this episode, or in this most recent episode, and I just don't know what they're gonna do with him there, because I thought Wentworth Miller, like, I didn't like the ways they used him originally when he was just like as like a hallucination thing, and then they brought him back as like a hologram on the Flash. I'm just like, you guys kind of wasting Wentworth Miller a bit. Granted, I know Wentworth Miller was busy filming this latest season of Prison Break, and I totally get that. But it's like, come on, if you're gonna do something with Wentworth Miller, do more than just a hallucination or a hologram, because again, it's a waste of his talents. And overall, again, the Legion itself, and especially Matt Lesher's, I think that's his name, the guy who played Eobard Thawne in Reverse Flash, he did great this season. And like, as someone who's such a huge fan of the Flash in season 1, and how great Tom Cavanaugh did as the Harrison Wells Eobard Thawne version of the character, this actor, he, like, you still believe it's the same guy. Like, you totally believe that this is the same exact guy who tricked Barry in season 1. Like, it just, Reverse Flash is a great villain, and now, like, it seems like he's gone for good. Or, I mean, I feel like he's still, because of him being a time remnant, that's how he was able to evade the Black Flash for so long. And the one thing I could say was a little kind of dumb in this episode was, you know, Thawne, like, creating so many time remnants of himself or pulling them all from history and stuff when they all end up getting erased anyway. And even then, they could have killed the Legends if they really wanted to, instead of just, like, hitting them really fast. But that was just a little minor thing in the episode. Other than that, I really like it a lot, considering they literally killed off almost everyone except for a couple of people. I mean, granted, like, at the end of the day, no one really died because of the whole timeline thing. But, again, Thawne was great this season. He was a great foil for the Legends themselves. I just feel like the Legion of Doom were a great set of villains for the season. And considering, like, Savitar has not been that great on the Flash, Prometheus has been pretty good on Arrow. But I think the Legion of Doom has by far been the best villains of the show, or of any of these shows. Because in Supergirl, you only have that big villain. You have Cadmus and Liliana Luthor, kind of, but it's not the same as yet the Legion of Doom. And in this last episode, you saw, like, because of their Doom facility, or like their at the Legion of Doom base that's from the cartoon and the comics. So I thought that was a little cool. I feel like they had to do that at some point, considering you had the Hall of Justice and the Invasion crossover, and then you had this. That was really cool. And overall, I just feel like everyone character-wise was handled so much better this season. Like Ray, like I feel like I was just back and forth with Ray in the first season. I feel like there wasn't a character that I disliked in this season. Whether it was, you know, going back and meeting young Stein, or, I mean, granted, Stein was a little arrogant in the beginning of the season. I didn't love him at the beginning of the season, but he grew on me because, you know, he still wants to do the right thing. His ego and his, you know, and his, you know, smarts get the better of him, you know. And I just feel like, again, like Nate and Maya were handled great, and Sarah too, because of the events of last season of Arrow with the death of Laurel Lance. She's been wanting to kill Damian Dark all season, and well, she didn't. And in this episode, we saw a bit of Katie Cassidy as Laurel again, as Sarah was seeing that kind of like hallucination dream thing brought on by the Spear of Destiny. I thought that was handled great, considering, you know, Katie Cassidy is coming back as a series regular on Arrow next season as Black Siren, but still she's coming back nonetheless. So I've always loved Katie Cassidy as Laurel. I mean, I didn't necessarily love Laurel in the first couple of seasons, but even when I didn't like Laurel, it wasn't because of Katie Cassidy. It was because of the writing. But ever since, like, I would say, like, season or late season 2, I really loved Laurel, and so it was really nice seeing her back, and just seeing the Lance sister dynamic again was something that I really missed. And I feel like in this latest episode, you got a lot of that. It's so weird because I'm so used to the episodic reviews of the shows that I keep forgetting that this is a whole season review. I don't know. There's so much of the show that I really enjoyed this season. Again, seeing Black Flash and just going back and fighting dinosaurs. Granted, there's some stuff I didn't like the zombie stuff in the Old West or whatever during the Civil War. I could have done without that. But you see, seeing George Lucas and J.R.R. Tolkien and all this other stuff, like, well, it was a little cheesy. It was still fun nonetheless. I still think the Legion of Doom episode was the best episode of the season. I would say these last couple of episodes have been phenomenal. I just feel like the show is, like, ramped up, and while I didn't necessarily love the way it ended because it didn't have that impact like the first season did, of, oh, here's the Justice Society. And that's another thing I want to bring up too, is the JSA was not used like I thought they were. Granted, the show isn't about the Justice Society, but I feel like they really underplayed the importance of the JSA, and that like they were the first superhero team, and in none of the other shows they never bring them up. And it's like you have all these cool characters like Stargirl and Commander Steel and Hourman, who died literally in the first episode he was in, besides the season finale last year. And then you have Obsidian, who they brought in, and his episode was really cool, but there's like no mention of, you know, Alan Scott in the comics. Jay Garrick is a member of the JSA, but obviously they explain that because Jay Garrick's on a different Earth in this universe, which sucks. But I just feel like they didn't really use the JSA like they could have, and I frankly should have. And I understand for budgetary reasons they can't always have all those actors. I mean, granted, they use the JSA as a way of forwarding the plot of this season, which was the Spear of Destiny, when they had all the spears or different fragments of the spear with different people like Dr. Midnight and Stargirl and Commander Steel and all the different members of the JSA had the different pieces. But that was a way to keep them in the show. But I still feel like that doesn't feel like the JSA to me. So that was like one of the minor problems I had with this season. But again, overall, I mean, seeing Rip Hunter back, seeing like his progression from like the Rip we knew to being a film student, and then to being evil Rip, and then back to the Rip we know. And I'm not sure how we feel about him leaving, because I feel like we just got him back. Like kind of like how I feel about Sarah leaving Arrow at the end of season 3. It's just like, you really don't have to do that. And I don't know if that's Arthur Darvill wanting to leave, or that's just them wanting to change up the roster again. But I don't know, because it seems like I don't know if they are going to keep Amaya, because Amaya said she was going to go back even with Nate saying he wants to go back with her. That she's, like I said, Amaya was again handled really well, because they could have done something super cheesy and like, oh, you can come with me, Nate. But no, she's like, no, like, this is the mission. My mission is over, and I have a destiny, and I have to get back to that no matter how I feel. And it's not about what I want. It's about what needs to be done. And that's why I think Amaya's a way better character than Kendra was last year, because they finally figured out a way to handle these characters. I feel like if Kendra and Carter were in this current season, they would have been handled a hell of a lot better. And they weren't not barely even mentioned at all. And I would like to see the actors who play Hawkman and Hawkgirl come back, but again, I just feel like how they were handled was just really, really bad. I would like to see them again, just written better. But if there's anything I missed, definitely let me get the center thoughts in the comment section below, guys, because I loved this season. There wasn't really enough that I didn't necessarily hated. It was just nonstop fun. And while I said earlier on, I thought it was a bit of a mistake to extend the season. These last, like, 10 episodes, again, have been great. Ever since the 4-way crossover, it's been, like, great episode, great episode, great episode, great episode, great episode. And it's, like, none of the other DC shows can do that consistently. And that's why I think this has been the best show on DC, or on the CW this season in terms of the DC shows, because of its consistently being good. And that's what I've wanted from all of these shows. At least you don't have to be great, just be good and fun. And Arrow's getting there again, but still there's certain things that still parts of that show that I still have problems with, which is why it's hard for me to say, oh, this show's back to season 2 or back to season 1, because it's still not quite there for me. But overall, again, I still think Legend of Tomorrow was a great season for the show, a hell of a lot better than season 1. I'm really excited for season 3, because I don't even know what they're going to do at this point, with the Reverse Flash being gone, and they're going to get a whole new set of villains, and I don't know what they're going to do with Leonard Snart and all these other characters. So who knows, especially when they landed in 2017 Los Angeles, and there's London, and there's dinosaurs, and there's all this other stuff they crashed into. So they have a whole other mess to clean up. But I think with that being said, that's going to be it for me. So what did you guys think of this season of Legends of Tomorrow? Tell your thoughts in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for all the other content on my channel. I just did reviews for the latest trailers of War for the Planet of the Apes, Spider-Man, and Justice League. I will be back to reviewing Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow when they come back here in a few weeks. And you guys check out all my other videos as I put them out. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, have a good one.